Good afternoon everyone, hope you're all well. Bang on time today, which is brilliant. Welcome to the studio everyone here in Wakefield. My name is Toni and this is the fabulous How to Craft network, where you can come and get all of the lovely inspiration and come and get some hints and tips on lots of genre of craft. We do our best to cover all areas, whether it be with me or another pretty face, i.e. Carly, Claire, Simon. It's a lovely place to visit. We are live most days. And you always get the notification in your newsletter. So welcome to the studio everybody. It feels a while since I've been here, but it hasn't been that long. I've been obviously over on Create and Craft. I know a lot of you have been watching me over there as well. So if you are watching on YouTube for the very first time, please give us a shout. Let us know if this is your first visit to our studio. It will be lovely to hear from you. We can see all of the comments. And if you are on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. That gives you the notifications when we are live. And there is a little bell as well if you would like the half-an-hour notice before we do go live, so you'll never miss a show. If you are watching on Facebook, we aren't streaming there at the moment, but if you do watch on Facebook as well, don't forget to pop the comments below the YouTube video when I've gone off air and at the bottom of our Facebook picture too. This gives us a wider reach with our lovely inspiration. So let's say hi to everybody. So lots of you on today. Hi Pat, Pepper, Anne, Tracy, Jenny, David, May, Michaela, Jan, Vanda. Vanda says she loves my hair. It hasn't been brushed since yesterday. Just sort of run my fingers through it. It won't be like this tomorrow, I promise you. It'll look like it's being brushed with a toffee apple tomorrow. David says it's sunny. Well done. Ooh. So it's lovely to see you all. So did you all see the newsletter this morning in relation to March being the National Craft Month? I hope you did. If you didn't, I have popped it on our Facebook pages as well, Eureka fan page and my personal page, that every Saturday morning we are going to be painting from 10 till 11:30, and you need limit supplies to craft along basically. All you need to do is join us here on the How to Craft Network channel, which is the Stamps by me, so it doesn't matter what you put in, it will always bring us up. And you can paint along with me. So we do encourage everybody to get involved. You don't have to be an artist. I'm not an artist. We just encourage you to pick up that brush and see if you enjoy it. It's a great starting point. So every Saturday morning throughout the month of March, we will be live here in the studio for about an hour and a half. It will just be me. I will be on the overhead. You'll be able to see me like this, but I will be on the overhead predominantly painting. And we'll have a coffee morning. And even if you start and you're thinking, I don't want to carry on, you can still stay tuned and have a chat with the lovely ladies as well. So I hope that's okay. Check out the Facebook page. Don't forget to check out your newsletters as well, because we always do a product of the week as well, where you can see where we do a discounted item. So let's have a look. Oh, Enid can't join. She's going for injection. Injection is more important, but as always, you can play catch up. You don't have to be live. It is nice to be live with the interaction that's going on at the time, but if not, it never goes away, as you all know. So in today's studio, looking forward to Saturday. That's brilliant. I'm pleased you are, because I'm actually looking forward to it too. It's been a year since we've been in lockdown nearly, hasn't it, hey? So I have today decided to just do a freehand little painting today out of one of my books, but I'm just going to run you through some of the supplies you're going to need for that Saturday or every Saturday following. So you saw the little picture. It's the lavender on the sand dune with a little bit of water or sky in the distance. Very, very simple. We're going to attempt to paint that one together. So you're going to need some watercolour card if you have some, A5 or A4, however big you want to do your masterpiece. The one in the picture is A4, but you can do an A5 one if you want to do a smaller one. Okay, you're going to need some brushes. I would say a size 4 and a smaller one if you have one. You're also going to need a flat brush as well, which is this sort of brush here with the flat, so we can get that lovely wash on the background. Please don't go out and buy expensive stuff, you don't need it. But you do need like a flat brush if you have one. Have a look in your stash, see if you've got one of these here. So one of these, I'll just hold that up for you there. See that there? Thank you. Can you see that there? A flat brush, and then you're going to need some watercolours. Now they don't have to be my watercolours. Some of you have probably got professional ones like I have, or some that you've got from another craft company. Any will do. Okay, you're going to need some tissue, and you're going to need some pots of water, 2 pots of water. So that's it for Saturday. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Is everybody excited about that? I'm super excited about it. And again, it's about getting together. even if we don't end up with the best masterpieces in the world, it's about, you know, getting together and having that lovely distraction. So I'm just going to have a drink of my tea. Has everybody got a cup of tea? So what we're going to do is I've picked this lovely book. Now, you will see Claire's done a lot of work from this book on the run up to Christmas. And when she started doing her work, I'm a massive fan of books, as you all know. I have a store full of them. I was like, I need that book. I've only done 2 paintings out of it. So I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to do something out of this book. Now, I tried to stay away from everything Claire's done, but I can't remember without going back over her work to find out what she's done. I'm just going to pick something at random through the book now. Well, it'll definitely be florals, won't it? You know that, or some foliage of some form. And then we're just going to paint it, but we're going to make it into a pretty card, and we're going to mix it in with our stamps as well. Okay, so it's not only to show you that, 1, you picked up the brush and you had a go, but 2, you can still make beautiful cards, and you can say that you've painted them. Even if they're not perfect, giving somebody a card that you've painted, they're going to be over the moon with it. They really, really are. So some of you may have this book from Claire's. They are available on the website, but I think a lot of you have been following Claire with this one already. So let's just have a flick. Can we just have a look on there? Thank you. So it's got like, in the back, it's got like botanicals. This is my personal one. If you're not a freehand sketcher and you want to craft along, stamp out a floral image from your stash and colour along with us. It doesn't have to be freehand. I know the freehand is quite scary, but I'm going to show you how I do it, how I break it down. But this is quite a nice book, but whatever books you've got in your stash, you can play, can't you, and just have a go. So let's just show you what I've done here. So I have my A4 watercolour card, and all I've done is, sorry, A5. I've folded the front back and I've just taped it at the side. So I've made like a watercolour block, so my card's not going to move while I'm painting. So let's have a look which one we're going to do. Any preferences? Oh, is Claire on today? Is she not feeling very well? I just said I hope you're feeling better soon. Is that Claire? Is she not feeling very well? Big hugs, Claire. Is she not? Somebody let me know. Is she not very well? Why don't I know about this, Claire? I hope you're okay. Anyway, so we will check in on Claire. Horse has probably eaten her scone or scone for summer, so she's probably got monk on. She's not really poorly, she's pulling your leg. So I'm just gonna, let's just go back to I quite like this one, or we could do this one. Shall we go with this one? This one looks quite an easy one, hey? So it shows you in the book like the colour palette that you're going to need, so you can pre-mix if you want to. Listen, I don't do anything by the rules. I don't pre-mix. I just do it. It's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't go by the rules. And as you can see here, they have sort of the 2 painted ones, and then she's got like a pencil sketch in there. Again, it's not something I do, but you know, we'll see how it goes, hey? So I'm just going to set this aside here, and we're just going to have a painting half an hour. Is that okay? Irene saying your choice. Let's go with this one then. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it into a card, and I'm going to do a giveaway tomorrow with at studio at 3 o'clock. We'll do a giveaway for it. Don't comment if you don't want it. I really don't mind. Different Claire. Regardless, I hope you're feeling better, Claire. Claire Ambrose. Hope you're feeling better soon, sweetheart. So let's have some paint. So I've got 2. You can see here we've got 2 of those lovely pink flowers. Can we see there? But I can see one's been laid on top of the other. So let's get a base flower. Hey, so this is how I do it. Some of you may be professional and better than me, and that's absolutely fine, but I don't think there are rules when it comes to watercolouring, so I'm going to literally just go for it. So I'm going to go with try and do what's in the book. It might look different, but hey ho. So let's get some pink on here. So I'm just going to mix some pink here. Let's put it here. You see here, nothing fancy, and I'm just going to go, I'm just going to add a bit of this sepia tone in there as well, give me a bit of an orange. I'm just going to go super light, okay, and then we can always add some darker tones as well. So we can see that this is sort of straight. You know, I like my florals on a bit of a curve, so I'm just going to do mine like sort of curving over this page. It's better to do it on a bigger piece of card and then we can trim it down than do it on a small piece of card and then think, oh, I need to trim it down, and you end up with like a little postage stamp of a watercolour. Okay, so let's just go with here. So I can see obviously there's various petals on there. I'm just going to go absolutely rogue and just do my thing. So when you're popping your brush down, you can just do like a petal like so, which will give you a sort of a thin petal, but I want a big one, so I'm bringing it into here. So I'm just taking it to a point. Can we see that there? And I want one opposite as well. Oops, I'll just move these brushes. And this is the key to your watercolour card as well. So I get that sort of moving time. We see that there. So these are quite thin ones, but I can see from here they're quite chunky, so I'm going to add some more. I'm just going to beef them out a little bit. Can we see that there? We need to go a bit fatter. So this is the way that I do it. I don't really have all the technical answers for you, so I'm happy with those two reflecting sort of petals on there. So I'm going to go turn my artwork around, and I'm going to do two here and here. So again, I'll go with the thin one, bring it into a point. Can we see that there? And then here. And I'm going to make it a little bit fatter. I'm not sure if Claire's done this one. She might have done it, but you know, you could check out Claire's channel as well. So you can see there, let's get a little bit more height on this one so it's a little bit more equal. So there we go. I'm happy with that. Shall we just leave that as is? So mine's going to be sort of creeping down this way. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go a little bit darker. I'm doing it a little bit darker than the book so it stands out on my card here so you can see exactly what I'm doing, okay? So we've got these gaps to fill. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm just going to go thin. Now you can do layer on layer on layer, but I'm using this as a guide, and books are always good for a guide, but literally I just like to go for it. So here's another one. I'm just going to turn my artwork around. So you can see I start with a thin one and then I sort of bulk it out a little bit. And don't be scared of white spaces because they do look good if you can leave them. So this is how, you know, when we do our lamination stamp, that Stamps by Me, this is how it starts. So the ones that I've done myself, which you'll know because I always tell you when I've done them myself, I paint them like this and then I put the pencil sketch in because then it makes a 2-part stamp, which you all love. I'm on the smooth side, Leslie. Yeah, it's the smooth side is this one, sweetheart. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that now because I'm going to fill in those gaps with some other petals, okay? Now these are all pointy ones underneath, but when we do our top layer we can make them curvy if we want to. So, you know, there are no rules, curves, points, mix them up, do what you need to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start on this part here, which is this sort of pink part here. So let's just do a little bit of a different colour so it doesn't all mix into one. Add a bit of yellow in here. So I'm sort of doing this sort of design, okay? So here we go. I'm going to come back to that. Just leave it be. Don't frustrate. Don't try and move it around. Just let it do its thing because you always get a better result. So I'm just going to do as we did earlier, and I'm just going to bring myself to a point here. Can we see these points? I'm just going to give myself several points because we're going to have to go back in. And if you get one that looks a bit like a blob, please don't worry about it, okay? The rough side really does make you look like, you know, you've got something amazing going on, but you do have to have the courage to do the rough side. So I would say if you're starting out, go with the smooth side, okay? Because it is better. It is easier as well to do your work on as well. So there we have it. So looking quite ugly at the moment. I'm absolutely happy with that. So I'm just going to let that do its thing. So I'm going to swap out now for a thinner brush because I want to do these sort of green elements down here. So I'm just going to mix up some green. So basically we're putting our foundations down to then put the next layer over the top, which will give you that sort of translucent where you'll see the petals through. But you've got to let that one dry first. So let's get some green on here. You need a smaller brush for this one, preferably one that goes to a finer point so you can get the detail of the green. So my artwork is going to come around like so. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a very thin line to about there. And that's my guide, and then I'm going to do one that's coming out of the top of here. Very thin. You see that there? So I've created myself an arch. Now, you can pencil sketch an arch in if you find that easier, but as we do the Saturdays, you know, they're going to be very basic ones. They're not going to be flowers because flowers are quite complicated, but scenes and things and that are very forgiving. So that's why we're starting with scenes and things like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pick up some green. I'm just going to push my brush down and then take it to a point, and then you get this lovely sort of petal design. Can we see that? I'll do it again. So you push down and then up to a point and you get the lovely leaves on there. Can we see that there? So I'm down. So you're already getting your wreath coming together there. So let's just get some darker green on here. Oh my gosh, not that dark. So I can see we've got another one coming off here. So I'm going to just take the green just on the tip of that brush like so, and then I'm going to press down. Can we see it? Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see that there. So not too complicated. Now if you want to drop some darker, whilst it's a little bit wet, if you want to drop some darker pieces in, you can do that if you want to. See that there? Move that around a little bit more. Let's have a look where else we've got buds. We've got a big bud here, so let's mix up some of this here. So what I'm doing with my smaller brushes, I'm doing the smaller ones first, okay? So, because I'm using the smaller brush. So let's go to the top here. So I can see we've got one that's coming out here. So I'm just going to... And we've got one coming up here. So if you used a fatter brush, you'll get fatter leaves. Does that make sense? Get some tiny ones on there. And if you can take your leaves to a point, it does look better. I can see there's some little flowers on there, so I'll come back to those ones. And then I've got some quite fat ones, so I'm going to swap my brush. I'm going to go back to my fatter brush. This is a size 6, is this one. So I'm just going to do the bigger ones here. So I've got some big ones coming out here, so I'm just going to do the line. I'll wait till the line, and then I'm going to press on with my fatter brush and I'll get bigger ones. But if I want to make it bigger, I just do another one at the side of it and you get bigger ones like so. So I've got that one and another one. So any gaps where I've not quite got my composition right, we can go in and put some big ones in, like there's one here. So let's put one in here to fill this gap. We see you filled that gap there. So before you know it really, turn your artwork around a little bit, before you know it really, it all comes together pretty fast. But the key is to get like really thin pressure in some areas and then press on with that brush and then lift that brush. Does that make sense? I hope it's making sense. Oh my gosh, let's have a look. Last time I tried something like this, it looked like an explosion in a paint factory. Yeah, if it's not good enough, pop it in the bin. But I always do say, if you know you're undecided about it, pop it on the side and have a look at it. Oh, Margaret's got a sore eye. You know, I had a sore eye the other day. Right, let's keep going then. Let's keep going because I'm going to mount this onto a card. Now, it's bigger than I anticipated, but that's the great thing about starting on a big piece of card. We can always trim down. So let's fill in this space here. Let's put some leaves in here because I've got quite a big gap here. So up and down with my brush. Two little nicks there to connect to the orange, although it's not finished. We've got some buds in here as well, which we can pop into. But all of these white spaces, I'm going to fill in now. So let's just get rid of this part here as well. This is quite... Where's there a space there? So let's put some little twigs in there as well. So our flowers are nowhere near done, but we're sort of getting our composition. And this has some beautiful detailing as well, so we can add that detail. But I'm just going to take some of this ochre colour here. And this has a super fine brush. This is actually a 0, albeit it's got a funny, doesn't look like I've dried it very well because it has got some that are sort of doing their own thing. So I'm just going to do some ochre lines. We'll pop some little buds on those. So anywhere where I've got a gap, where I'm thinking it's not quite right for a leaf, we can fill in with these little buds. See there? And we'll add some flowers to those. So on the green parts then we've got some sort of green detail in there. So let's just go in and add that detail with our brush. So this brush is not the best, but this one has a little bit of detail down the centre, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add that detail. So does this one. I'm just going to add the detail in them all because I think it looks... But don't be heavy-handed with your lines. Try and be as delicate as you can. And in any like white spaces, I'm just adding a couple of, like, as if to suggest there's some leaves in there. What will happen is you'll start your own work anyway, and then you'll just go off, you'll just follow the work that you've done anyway. You'll probably stop looking at the book after a couple of minutes. But like I say, the books are a great starting point. I love my books. I've got a whole room of books, a lot that have never been used, admittedly, but you know, time. So I'm just adding those delicate lines in some of the work there. So you can see it's it's coming together. So let's add some of the lovely little buds. So I'm just going to take some of this wet colour here. And we'll add some little buds. So the little buds are just little, like you pressing down in a splodge, like as if you're doing a top, a bottom, a left and a right. It'll naturally just make a beautiful little bud. I'll just pop some buds in here too. We'll connect to them. And then we've got these two like circular buds here. Can we see these here? So I'm going to sort of bring those in. See that there? And we will connect them with the green. I know that feeling, lots of books. So do you got lots of books, Doreen? Painting books, is that? I'm just using a bit of green just to connect to these ones that are sort of floating. You see that there? So I created a nice little arc there. So let's go back to our flowers. So I'm going to go back to my big brush. I'm going to sort of fill in those gaps. I'm just going to use the same colour that's in here, look. Let's just get rid of that green. You see the same colour that's in here. So I'll add a bit of, see here it's a bit dark now. Keep adding that water. There we go. So you can see mine's quite pointy on this one, but we can bring it back to a curly leafed one if you want to. So in the gaps, I'm just going to use a lighter colour and I'm just going to go back over. See that there? Might need to be a little bit darker. And that's where the courage comes really, the colour. And I'll tell you one person who really does well at this one, and that's Karen off the design team. She doesn't know it, but she went through a phase of doing, this is called like translucent petals. And it's a really difficult technique actually. But some people just can do it, it's incredible. I'm just going to fill in those gaps here. So it'll look a mess when you first put them down, but do have the courage to go for it. So basically I'm just filling in those gaps with some circular. Right, so I'm going to leave, so we've now got a chunky flower, so I'm going to leave that one. Let's move back to this one now, which was predominantly orange. Not too much orange. And as you can see, it's just overlaid. Can we see? So it creates like a translucent sort of look. So again, I'm just going to go over the top, maybe a little bit darker. You see that there? And just do it in different ways. And it'll dry really, really pretty. Give it a chance to dry. So is there anywhere else where we need to go back in? I might need to just tidy this little bud up here. Look. So just wait. Now that looks like a big splotch, but we haven't got the detail in the centre, remember. So when you're doing your work, if it looks like a big splotch, just remember we've got to connect it with this black in here. Okay, so have the patience with it. Don't try and rush ahead. invisible pads are amazing. They are, and they're a great starting point. And what you'll find is you'll naturally start doing these things with leaves and things yourselves because you're picking up a brush and not really knowing about it. So what else can we add any more detail at the moment? I don't think we can. Let's dry this one off. Now when you come to add your black, it's probably the most important part of your painting really, is that right? Yeah, let's just some. So you might want to do it with a fine liner pen. If you like your work so fine, you're thinking I really don't want to ruin it, you might want to do it with a fine liner pen. I'm just going to go paint because it's paint. But yeah, if you want to do it with a fine liner pen, you can. So I can see from the centre here, just make sure that's not too dark. Mix them up here. I'm just going to lay myself sort of like a base, so I can see it's just sort of like a push of colour from the centre out. It's not really anything particular. So you can see now instantly how our flower is coming to life. I'm using the small brush for this one, like so, and then let's just add a little bit of detail to the centres of these little flowers here. See there? So it's sort of coming to life pretty quick, but now I can't do, now you can drop a little bit of darker black in now you have your overlay, your underlaying, as you say, as you've got your carpeting. Now we can put the posh stuff on top. You see that there? Whilst it's wet, I'm just dropping some darker black in there. We'll just dry that one off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of detail with the black. Now this is not in the book, this is just me just playing because this is my style, and I do like a little bit like you've gone round with a fine liner pen. So I'm just going to go in with this awful brush, I must say, awful. I don't know what I've done to it. I wonder if it's been caught on something in my bag. So you can do this with a fine liner if you wish. So it's just going in and adding that extra detail with some black. You can sort of outline things a little bit as well. And it's sort of, this is where your lamination, what you've all seen, where you get that second layer that just frames that lovely piece of artwork. And sometimes it's not straight, sometimes it just does its own thing. Like so. I'm just going to close the book for now, and then let's add some splats. So we have gold mine. So just put some, and this is where you make your artwork your own. Okay, don't follow books, go with your gut. If your gut's telling you it needs some splats and you want to do more, then go for it. It's a piece of card, isn't it? So I'm just going to add a couple of splats on here. So I get that lovely, and in any areas where you're thinking I'm not quite sure about, you know, that big blob, that leaf is frustrating me, you know, because we're so picky with our designs and we're so self-critical of our work. You know, if you've got a leaf that you're not quite sure about, go in and give it the biggest splats you can. So I'm just going to get rid of that one, and then I'm just going to mix up some white as well. And white always looks incredible as well, so go for the white too if you can. You see how we've pushed that artwork back a little bit? You see that there? It will dry to pretty much nothing, so I'm really going to go to town. So let's just dry this one off. It is really relaxing, and I know you say, oh, it's relaxing watching me, but it is really relaxing. Just get that brush out and paint some leaves. Don't have to follow a book if you don't want to. Have a look at Claire. She did like the 12 days of Christmas, didn't she, run up to Christmas, where I think she did one out of this book every day, I think. That's over on Claire's Thirsty Brush YouTube. Splats are the easiest part of it. Splats are my favourite, Karen says. Yeah, we've got to have a good splat, haven't we? Particularly when you get the gold, the sunshine and the metallic ones on there. So, nearly good to go. So let's just take this off our book. So I just used some tape just to pin it in my book. Let's set this aside. So let's grab our lovely Eureka. I haven't trimmed it down yet because I don't know how it's going to look. I'm just going to pop this into my Eureka here. And then I'm just going to grab a sentiment from one of the lovely Craft Academy stamps from yesterday, which is the lovely long ones, but have a look in your stash. I'm going to go with the big one, which I never got the chance to use. This is why I love a good curve, because curves hug your work. So let's just pull it in a little bit more, maybe. Shall we go there? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it in grey first, because I think black might be a little bit too dark. So I'm going to go grey first. If it's not quite dark enough, it will get with black. Elizabeth, the confetti is on its way. As soon as it lands and it's in the building, I will post an email on the newsletter or on social media. Confetti ink, Barbara's saying. Well, basically you can paint images like the confetti inks. Oh. So you can paint onto coloured cardstock. They're double ups as well, so they'll look really cool on coloured cardstock as well, but they're just a great medium, and they're super thick, which is like a gouache or an acrylic. But the confetti ink, the gold mine and the sunshine are the ones that I use mostly for backgrounds and splats and things like that. So, and they're huge, so they'll last forever, which is cool. I like things that are going to last forever. Well, I certainly do anyway. I'm just giving this a second stamp, just see if I can get it a bit darker. So this is a sentiment that says, smile often, think positively, give thanks, laugh loudly, love others and dream big. Why not, hey? So does that not look like a piece of artwork? Do we need to try and get it a little bit darker? I think black would have been too much to you guys. Yep, whoever, is somebody asking about the book? Yeah, sorry. It's the new Harriet de Winton book. Claire knows more about this one. But yeah, it's a cool book. If you like books anyway. If you're not a colourist and you don't want to learn, then stamp out a stamp and maybe do this design. I think that's quite a pretty card, don't you? Now let's just get this onto a card blank. Let's grab a card blank first of all. Excuse me, I'll just grab a card blank. So I have, what colour shall we go for? Let's go grey. Like a grey one. So just trim this one down. I'll just take a little bit off this end. So always do your painting on a bigger piece of card, and then you can choose where you want your design, okay? Then you're not governed by, oh, I've painted it top left, I've painted it bottom right, it doesn't quite look right. You can take off the bits that you don't like. Pop some tape behind here. So I will put some glue on as well because it is going to be a giveaway and I don't want it to drop to pieces. Just pop my pin back in because I have a habit of leaving it to get blocked. And we'll pop this one onto our top folding note card. And what a lovely card to be able to say, hey, you know, I painted that, I took the time. Have we had some sparkles? Have we got time? Let's add some sparkles because we have got some time. Oh, I'm hoping it feels like we've got plenty of time. Tracy's goodies have just arrived. Well done, Tracy. I'm just popping some sparkles, not too many, in some of the areas, just to make it look pretty, hey. I'm just following the curve. Smaller ones do look better. There we go. So let's show you what they look like. So a lovely half an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer, I'm not sure how long I've been, for you to just take your mind off the stresses of the world. There we go. And I will step out of the shop while we just get a little picture. Drink my tea at the same time. All done. Thank you. So do we like that one? You see, let me just show you, can I just show you the splats on there? So that those are metallic splats. I don't know if your camera will be able to. Can you see the metallic splats in there as well? So just gives it a little. So quite a pretty card. I'll do this as a giveaway tomorrow. So if you pop a comment under this video after I've gone off air, I'll pick a winner tomorrow, and someday I'll write a lovely message inside. Not that you want my signature, or it'll probably go in the bin, but I will put a nice message inside and send it to a lucky winner tomorrow if you want it. If you don't want it, you don't have to comment. It's absolutely fine. But there we go. So I'm glad you've enjoyed that session. I have no idea what time it is, but I hope it's been helpful. And these are going to be the sessions that we're going to be doing on a Saturday morning, but we are not doing botanicals or florals. They're a little bit too far. We're going to be doing scenes, which are a little bit easier, very forgiving. So all you need is the little list that's on the picture in the newsletter, and if you rewind me right now, you'll know because I spoke about the items at the beginning of the show. I do hope you can join me. You know, it's very precious this time, and if we can spend it together as crafty friends, then no better way than spending your Saturday morning, hey? So whatever you're doing, stay safe, stay cozy as always, and I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock with something else. I don't know what, but it will be something exciting, I'm sure. See you all later then. Bye guys.